Which movie character had the most avoidable death? That one dude from that Austin Powers movie who got ran over by a road roller. That was straight from an old James Bond movie, except that version was supposed to be serious. Do you know which movie, which scene? I never knew that scene was a parody of a specific James Bond scene, and I can't find anything online when I search. I always thought it was a generic parody of how often henchmen have completely avoidable deaths. King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph. Like, dude, don't bully the brainwashed rightful heir, you idiot. Tell her that you'll be destroyed if you race. Story you gave Ralph shortly after taking over the game, and pull a Mother Gothel and protect her for years. You can even make it out like you adopted the poor little glitch out of the goodness of your heart and nip her desire to race in the bud early on. Pretend to be a protective dad, don't let others pick on her. And then if she ever does find out, she will have bonded with you and not want to finish you off. Also, don't fuse with a bug. To be fair, that last one was pretty unavoidable. Bob in Stranger Things. He was too smart to stop and celebrate prematurely like that. You telling me you put one normal door between you and literal monsters and are like, phew, this seems like a safe place to stand around. I totally misread a spoiler before I watched that season, and I thought they were going to reveal Bob is the head behind that institute, not kill him off. So when that creature was going after him, I was like, genius. No one will suspect a thing. But wow, I could not have been more wrong in that situation. My friend and I were certain that Bob was CIA or involved in the project. He was so beep suspicious the entire movie. Apparently the Duffer Bros never even intended for him to come off that way, and my friend and I are just paranoid as beep. Everyone who ever tried to avoid being crushed by a falling tree, tower block, or giant robot by running away from it when they could have moved sideways out of the path of destruction. Ah yes, the old Prometheus school of running. You forget that away from things part. Merlin in Kingsman, Eggsy had one goddamn job. He didn't even have to die after he stepped on the mine. He wasn't in a vulnerable position. No one knew he was there. There was no timer. All Merlin had to do was stand there. After Eggsy and Harry had dealt with the baddies, they could shut the mines off with a remote or come back with proper equipment and rescue him. There was absolutely no reason to blow himself up at any point. Sure, he took out like 5 guys, but given the size of the opposition, that barely made any difference for the others to get through. Just stand there not exploding for like 20 minutes and the others can come back for you. Killed the movie for me, to be honest. Partly as I loved them as a trio, but also it seemed avoidable. Male models who blow themselves up in Zoolander. Unfair. That was just a freak gasoline fight accident. Who hasn't had one while enjoying a ride with orange mocha frappuccino? The villain in The Incredibles. He didn't have to wear a cape. But he didn't know not to wear a cape. Edna told Mr. Incredible that she wouldn't give him a cape because of all the accidents that are caused by it, something he wasn't aware of. Syndrome likely wouldn't be aware of it either. Definitely Jonathan Kent in Man of Steel. That whole scene bothers the beep out of me. Like, could you pick any other disaster to kill him off? Beep asterisk tornado that came out of nowhere where all they had to do was turn around and drive the other way really fast instead of driving right into it. Beep, it's not like a tornado that big just comes down. It was on the ground long enough to not to drive over there then get out of your car right in its path. The original Superman movies had Kent die of cancer. It's tragic, but it also teaches Clark that even he can't save everyone. Most Kent tried to teach him that he shouldn't save everyone. Then Clark lets him die. Zod then comes out and gives him no choice, making his dad's death that he allowed to happen completely pointless. Beep Gurahem. Yes, I agree. Edit made a couple of mistakes. Corrections in replies. Park worker who gets killed at the beginning of Jurassic Park. Shoot her. He didn't have to physically lift the door, and there's no reason that cage would be moved unless they were just too lazy to check the locking mechanism. It was super fancy, but a beep chick block or weight could have saved his life. An automatic door or use a small crane. It seems as if John Hammond spared some expenses. He certainly spared some expense having one dude service the entire IT department. Bill Murray in Zombieland. He had a nice 4-gun salute though. He had no regrets though. Well, except for Garfield. Apparently that whole exchange was totally ad-libbed. If you look, Woody Harrelson is basically completely unable to hold a straight face for the entire scene, and Jesse Eisenberg comes close to losing it a few times too. The Rock and Sam Jackson and the other guys aim for the bushes. Cops still argue to this day why Anson and Highsmith jumped. Maybe it was just pride, having survived so many brushes with death. Maybe their egos pushed them off. I don't know, but that beef was crazy. Every person in a horror movie who runs up the stairs to escape the serial killer. Well, oh beep, you just trapped yourself. Smash a window, break the goddamn door down, run outside. Anywhere but up the freaking stairs. Ever heard of the high ground? It's over, Michael Myers. I have the high ground. The grandmother in Dante's Peak. The whole family is crossing a lake that's become acidic because of a volcanic eruption. The acidic water is starting to eat through their boat and wreck the engine. Fortunately, Pierce Brosnan improvises a paddle and is getting them to shore. Then, at the last moment, the grandmother character decides she needs to help and heroically jumps out of the boat to wade through the acid water and pull them the last 10 feet to shore. She dies of her injuries shortly after. She literally just had to wait like 10 more seconds and the boat would have been to shore anyway. They could all see it. Completely pointless. If the old biddy had listened to her daughter-in-law and come down the mountain when she was told to, she wouldn't have been in the boat on the lake. Deep blue sea. The girl jumped into the water with a cut on her hand to distract the shark and sacrificed herself. She could have just cut her hand and let the blood drop into the water instead. X-Force from Deadpool 2. They shouldn't have flown on a windy day. Rip Brad Pitt. Pretty much everyone in Prometheus. All movies in Alien franchise always have typical storyline. 1. Arrive an unknown planet, underestimate the threat. 2. Everyone except 1 or 2 will be eaten alive. Every teenager in a horror movie who leaves the group to explore on their own. Except in Cabin in the Woods, where the organization had safeguards to make sure that they would split up. Sirius Black. That whole book could have been skipped if Harry trusted his friends, took a breather, and stopped being an angsty aka Harry Potter, and how opening your godfather's gift would have saved you a ton of trouble. It was so dumb. Kid didn't get a single birthday or Christmas present for 11 years when he was at Dursley's, and now that he finally gets a gift from his favorite person, he doesn't even open it? Yeah, sure. Makes sense. He was told that he could use it to get hold of Sirius at any time. He just swore not to use it for no reason at all. This is the show, but can we talk about Theon and Gut? Bran is omniscient and knew that Arya would be there to save the day in like 2 minutes, but still let him sacrifice himself for essentially no reason other than redemption. Someone mentioned a theory that Bran never forgave him for invading Winterfell, so he set him up for revenge. This theory might be the only thing about S8 that makes sense. Mike from Breaking Bad. Like he said, he could have just got the names from